What's going on, wizards? Sorry I've been away for so long, but I figured it's time that I do a video to address the group. So recently some shit happened that I'm sure most of you realize. A few weeks ago, some people came into the group in a really disrespectful way and started, some of them started being pricks to other members. Some of them were just trying to be goofy. Some of them were purposefully trying to prod things and prod people. And I'm in the middle of a vacation right now. I've been taking like 6 weeks and just backing the fuck off of all digital content. I'm not recording any more videos. I'm just not doing anything. I'm like focusing on loving my wife and my kid more and just working, and that's it. So what happened is one of the members told me, just messaged me and said, hey, I know you're away and you're trying to be away, but some shit's going on in the group right now and I need you to just come and like handle it. So I was like, fuck, okay, well, I guess I gotta come back and play dad, let's go check this shit out. And I got in and immediately, like, I was already just frustrated. So immediately I just judged the situation and I saw what was going on in the group and I was just like, dude, fuck all this. Like, I want to go back to vacation. So I just deleted everything and I undid all of the joins that happened, and none of them were join requests. Like, none of them had asked to be in the group. It was like some members that had just added a whole fuckload of their buddies. And I realize now the way that I acted by just blocking everybody and like not allowing people to speak was the worst thing I could have done. I didn't think about it at all. It was completely like an emotional response. But essentially what I did was I censored the people that were trying to join, and then I wasn't even thankful for the fact that people had just like added hundreds of their friends. And I think a little bit of appreciation, now that I've had some time to sit and think about everything, a little bit of appreciation for joining and for bringing all of your friends would have been the right way to go. But also just addressing the way people were acting in the group and saying, look, that's not how we act. This is how we act. So if you can act this way and be like a helpful member, be a good member of this group that everybody wants to have in the group, then you're welcome to stay. But if not, you need to leave. That's how I should have addressed the issue, instead of just basically like having an emotional response and saying fuck everyone that was saying fuck us and just censoring everyone out of the group. So I want everybody to know that no matter how many of you are like, yeah, you acted the right way and that's what you were supposed to do and thanks for protecting us, it's like I don't think that I acted correctly. And the reason I know that I didn't act correctly is because the members of these other groups that, like, there's some admins that are a part of these like 20,000 member electrical groups. They've blocked me out of their groups because they too emotionally were affected by what I did. They were hurt by it, or they got their egos, up in a flare. But just the act of me coming into this group and looking at everything that was happening and being like, nope, fuck this, and stopping it, made all of them feel like I was giving them a middle finger. And so they've blocked me from the groups, and I really don't give a shit. I mean, like, my life and my reputation and my ego and all of my things are not wrapped up in like what Facebook electrical groups I'm allowed in, so it doesn't matter. But I've had some time. I've had 6 weeks of like just getting away from all this digital shit, and it's allowed me time to just reflect on like why I act the way that I act, why certain relationships are important to me, what it means for me to be a man, and how I act, and like just everything, like what kind of a husband I am, what kind of a father I am, why I have a need to sit here in front of a fucking camera and talk to people. And like, I just analyze so much about myself. But in the middle of it, our group just being basically like fucking hazed on by a bunch of people and members being attacked by people, really just pissed me off, and I didn't want to deal with it. I was like in relax mode, then some shit happened and I was just like, fuck it all, and then I just went back to relax mode, and I haven't looked back since. Again, I don't think that I acted well as a leader of a group. I don't think the thing to do is to just when somebody comes in middle fingers ablazing, I don't think giving them a middle finger back and just slamming the fucking door in their face is the way to go. I don't think that's how you lead men. I think giving everybody a chance, no matter what their background, especially because of their background, that's the way to act. So I just wanted to clear the air on some of that shit. But I've realized that there's like 200 member requests to join the group now since all of that shit, and I know a lot of them are malicious. Like, there's some fake accounts that people have created just to be in this group, and there's people that are in some of these other groups that I've had screenshots sent to me of, like, they're just talking really heinous bad shit about our group, bad shit about me, like some of the most hateful, just like worst shit I've ever had. I've never had anybody just hate me. But there's a lot of people that are pissed. And the funny thing is there's a lot of people that are pissed off that they were added to this group, not by choice, but like a buddy had just added them to the group. And they got in the group and they're like, why the fuck am I here? And since I undid every action that happened within like a 24-hour period, all of those people got deleted too. And so in the other groups, these people are like, what the fuck? Why did I get taken away? I'm not a troll, you know, like, so they're like, I didn't even want to be in this group, but now that I'm not in it, I want to be in this group, so fuck you, you know, like, there's just so many people that are like hating on our group right now and hating on me, and I've got message requests on Facebook. I haven't responded or looked at any fucking messages that have come my way for weeks and weeks and weeks, and there's a fuck ton of them to deal with. So this is just for me to address the group. I want you guys to know that I think going forward, I'm just going to let everybody in that joins in. Like, that's what I was doing before. Anybody that wants to join the group, they're welcome to come in. I've set the parameters of the group so that you have to ask to join. You can't just add all of your, you know, friends to it. I think that each person, I think every person deserves a chance, you know, and everybody deserves like a fair shake. And I think that we should, as a group, we should be deciding who gets to stay in our group and who doesn't, instead of me just deciding based off of an emotional whim, which is really fucking stupid. But instead of me being like a dictator for this group and a protector or whatever the fuck, you know, I think that the group should make decisions on who's allowed to be in and who's not. But the only way to do that I know of is for me to let people in the group and give them a chance. And if they act right, they act right. And if they act wrong, address that with them and give them a chance and see how they act. And then from then on out, you know, letting the group decide, hey, is this person fit for the group or is this person not a fit for the group? And then letting the democratic group process take kind of like make the shit or break it. So I hope you guys have had a good like 4 to 6 weeks. I'm sorry I haven't really created any content. I've been recording shit. Every once in a while, you know, I'll have like a thought and I'll throw my phone up and just record it. But it's time for me to get back to doing what I was doing before. I've realized a lot about myself and a lot of my bullshit, a lot of my like good qualities too. I think that everybody at some point in their life just needs to reflect, like needs to step back and take a look at themselves outside of themselves and realize like how they affect the world that they live in, and you know what their purpose is, what their why is. You know, like everybody in business is always like, well, what's your why? You know, why do you do what you do? Why is your company this way? And why? Because the why is the most important thing. But for the first time in my life, I've really started to look at the why I'm here. You know, like none of us really have this cosmic answer or this, you know, this spiritual touch by God to let us know like why we are here to exist and what our function and purpose is in life. So I think it's up to us to define who we are and why we're here and what we are here to do. And for the first time in my life, I'm looking at my why, the why I'm here, the why I interact with certain people the way that I do, why I have emotional responses to things, why I'm so logical about certain things. You know, like just I feel like we only get one chance to do this. You know, we may be like reincarnated into other lives. I don't know any of that, but I do know that like this chance that I have to be me, this is the only one that I've got. So why squander that on anything? Like why waste a minute of it? Why put shit in my body that's not going to benefit my body? Why put shit in my head that's not going to benefit my head? You know, why treat people around me in a way that's not beneficial for everybody? Like why be a hindrance in any way And why squander anything in life, you know, like not just experiencing this life. I feel like I've been a rock in the middle of a river for a really long time instead of just being the fucking river and just going with the flow. So it's been an interesting 6 weeks. I've had a lot of crazy shit going on, but I'm back, and appreciate y'all's patience and your like support for the group. And there's a lot of wallflowers in this group, so stop being wallflowers. Stop just sitting there and not responding to anything and looking at all the posts and not posting things. Like, we want you to interact. We want people to post shit in the group and learn and teach. That's what this group's for, is like learning and teaching. But I want everything in this group to come from a place of humility and respect. So going forward, I would like everybody in this group to precede their interactions with other members of the group with respect and humility. Every relationship that I have, like every really, really good friendship that I have, whether it's like with a boss that I used to have, or whether it's like, you know, just a good buddy of mine, the reason the relationship is such a good relationship, it's so deep, is that everything that we do and everything that we say to each other is always preceded with respect. We don't ever just say like, hey, you dumb motherfucker, you know, like we don't try to piss people or piss each other off. We don't try to ever say something that would ever be like disrespectful to each other, because we've built so much respect that now we can say, hey, you stupid motherfucker, like go pick that up, you know. We've spent so much time building humility and respect that the joking around is seen as joking around because respect has been well established. Anytime you're in a group of people and you're just disrespectful to those people, the respect is never going to be able to be had, because you're not giving a chance to build respect before cutting people down. So there's a big difference between just ripping people apart and ripping on people. And I want everyone in this group to think about that. Think about, you know, like your piece in this and how you interact with other members. Have you spent time trying to get to know everybody in the group and like just like spending the time building rapport with people and trying to make interactions with everyone from, you know, like very respectful interactions that are based on knowledge and fact. There's nothing wrong with like somebody posting something and they're incorrect on their code knowledge, and you call them out on it and say, hey, that's not right. Look over here, this is this and this, you know, and you're posting this over here and that's not right. Like being direct and being honest and direct there's nothing wrong with that. It's the calling people dumb motherfuckers and saying like, you know, you shouldn't be an electrician and you're a fucking idiot and like all of that kind of stuff. That ain't necessary, man. Like nobody's going to gain out of that. And my hope for all of us is just to be better electricians. And I think that building people up, this is a brotherhood. We are a brotherhood. We are all in this trade together. We all have different backgrounds. We all have different experience levels. We've all seen different shit. But I think building and having an additive relationship to where we're all building each other up and we're trying to be better and make better electricians, that's what the purpose of this group is. The other piece that I've got is this whole trolling thing. There are people out there that just love to fucking be trolls. They just love to hate on people because it feeds their ego and it makes them feel like they're better, they're gaining something. Like, you got to realize people only act in a way that they want to act. People don't do things that make them unhappy. Every human being is just trying to be happy at the end of the day. So anything that they do is from the standpoint of it makes them happy to do so. So if somebody is like really nice and they like help an old lady, you know, carry groceries out to her car, it's because they get some sort of release of dopamine or serotonin or oxytocin, or like they get something out of it. They get some kind of chemical release in their body that makes them feel fucking good for doing what they just did. The same thing goes for hating people and putting any kind of emotional like force at another individual, trolling people, like anything people do, everything people do. If you're in the military and you fucking shoot somebody, everything you do, you get a release that goes through your neurotransmitters in your brain. You get a fucking reward for doing what you're doing. There's also shit that doesn't give you a reward, that makes you feel like stressful and makes you feel, you know, like fight or flight. But at the end of the day, like our feel good things are are these chemicals that release in our body. And so there is a reason that people troll, and for whatever reason it is, whether they think that it's like their freedom of speech and they have that right. I mean, like, that's another thing. Trolling, being assholes, speaking your mind, saying whatever the fuck you want in a forum of people online, it's your right to do that. Like, you have that freedom in this country, and to be censored is wrong. So for somebody to censor someone else, for them, even if they're just trolling and being hateful, is fucked up. Like, it's really wrong. And I don't believe in that. I don't believe in censorship. I'm like a fan of anonymous, you know, I'm a fan of people exercising their rights no matter what anybody thinks, as long as they're not hurting other people in them exercising their rights. That's where I draw the line in my beliefs about this whole shit. I believe that everybody should have the freedom to put anything in their body that they want to put in their body, but also let anything out of their body that they want to come out of their body, as long as they're not hurting another person, or as long as they're not conflicting with my right to exercise my freedoms. Your freedoms stop where my freedoms begin, and that's the way it should be for everybody. So that being said, like trolling, I just wanted to address this. I don't think trolling is inherently wrong. I see the purpose for it. I think in any free democratic society, we have to have a full spectrum of voices. You have to have people that are like always for the good, and you have to have people that are always for the bad, and you have to have people that are trying to build, and you have to have people that are trying to destroy. You have to have the whole thing for the entire group dynamic to be successful and for freedom to truly exist. Now, whether or not I believe that we as human beings or even Americans are truly free, that's a little subjective to some debate at a later time. But for in this group, at least, I want everyone to feel free. I don't want people to feel like they're going to be censored. I don't want people to feel like they're going to be bullied. But at the end of the day, we're all grown-ass fucking people, and we can handle it. So just start fucking treating people better, start respecting people, and just try to be additive, try to be constructive. Like, criticize people, yes, it's fine. When criticism is needed, it's necessary. But do it in a respectful way, because that's what the purpose of this group is, okay? I love y'all people. Be safe out there. Be teachers, be students, and put your best foot forward. Always do your best work every single day, and just be a good motherfucker in this world. We need it. Peace.